My name's Arthur Chapman.
And I'm Jocelyn Letourneau.
And we're here to talk to you about a special feature in the London Review of Education that we've both edited over the last year and a half, I think, entitled
Negotiating the Nation, Young People, National Narrative and History Education.
And what we've tried to do through the edition is ask quite big questions on an international basis about our key themes, which is the national narrative, young people's knowledge of that narrative, and what we're interested in exploring is what young people do know. And we're asking that question for a number of reasons. One of them really is to do with how these issues are usually framed, which is in a more negative manner, isn't
Right,
it?
yeah. We certainly come to the conclusion, or the others came to the conclusion, that it is completely untrue that young people know nothing about the past. On the contrary, they know a good deal about the past, and what they know is usually structured very much so by what we could call the kind of national narrative.
So, what are the cognitive components of knowledge, of narrative, and of narratives about the nation? These are the sorts of issues we've been exploring. Not just the substantive question, what facts do kids know, which is how this issue is usually addressed in the media and public discourse. We're interested in asking questions that aren't just factual tests, that reveal things that the questioner doesn't necessarily know. This is what's wrong, I think, with the way that issues of knowledge are usually addressed. People just come up with a list of things and check whether children know them. What we're interested in doing is finding out what they know in a way that may surprise us, by asking open questions, by devising instruments that will allow them to make decisions about how they structure what they say and so on. And we have a number of articles that explore that from different dimensions and from different countries.
Yeah. Among them is Belgium, Canada, Israel, New Zealand, South Africa, Uganda, the United States.
So, how do young people make sense of the past, and what does it mean to them as well? These are the sorts of issues we've been asking. We won't go into what the articles from our authors who've generously given of their time conclude, because we want you to read the edition. but I think we can say we've got some very interesting common themes and findings from these different countries. And what else have we got on the edition?
Well, out of the articles, I think people will see the extent of knowledge young have about the past, and how they are active thinkers. Intelligent means that they are not only listening, but in a way play with what they get, either in the classroom or outside of the classroom. Many articles also explore the connection that exists between the knowledge transmitted into the classroom and collective memory. So basically, we could see how the young circulate in a kind of ecosystem of learning, or learning ecosystem, and at which extent the whole knowledge of different kinds, of different forms that circulate in society influence them into their thinking about the past. And I think that if, as history educators, that's the last theme that we addressed in the articles, or that was addressed in the articles, if history educators do not take account of this kind of learning ecosystem, then they might be out of target. To really modify the system of representation, myth histories you can call it, into which young are evolving.
So, in addition to 8 articles with a wide international spread across continents addressing these questions, we have also James Verge has written a kind of forward to the whole edition for us, and it was we're very grateful to Professor Verge for doing that, because, as colleagues familiar with the field will know, his work has been very influential in providing some key concepts with which to think this whole issue of how children structure knowledge, in particular the notion of the schematic narrative template. And this Professor Wirch's work has been seminal in the sense that it's shaped and driven a lot of research. And we can see that very much actually in many of the articles that reference this idea of the narrative template and so on. So we're very grateful for the foreword there, which kind of gives James's perspective on what has been achieved through the edition and its implications for future research. And we also have a commissioned review article, don't we, in the edition?
Yeah, so yes we do, and this review article addressed the question of trajectories and future directions in international textbook and research.
Yes, so what's happening in terms of textbook research, what can we learn from textbooks, and how is that field evolving internationally, and how should it evolve as well. So that's very interesting, and we're grateful also for that. So we hope that you'll follow the link at the end of this video and enjoy reading the articles. It's been a great pleasure for us to work together, so thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you,
And I think it's a great edition.
Yeah.
Thank you.